Hey guys, welcome back to my PhD Chronicles. Today I will talk about what happened in the first month of my PhD program. So it's been about a month since I posted my last update where I said that I will be starting my PhD this September. So a month into it, and I can share some of my first experiences, what I'm doing, and also some of the things that some of you might really relate to. So first, let me ask you something. Have you ever doubted your work? Maybe questioned whether what you're doing is even worth it? Well, throughout my master's, I've been there more times than I can count. And we'll talk about this a little later in the video. I'll share some of the advice how to overcome those personal doubts and how to move on from them. First, let's talk about the logistics of that semester. So as a PhD student, you're required to take 4 courses during your program. And it was the same from a master's program as well. There's not that many courses left that I can choose at this level that are still relevant to my research. So this term I'm taking mathematical physics at the graduate level. I took this class prior when I was still an undergrad, actually 2 classes, but I was never good at math, and this is my chance to improve. So during this class, we will be working through the topics like complex analysis, contour integration, branch cuts, Dirac-delta functions, Green's functions, and maybe even some group theory later in the semester if we still have time. So I really hope that I can get good at least at some of these topics, because next term I'll be taking electromagnetism at the graduate level, and some of the topics will be really helpful in that other class. Now we also use Mathematica to solve some of the integrals and to be able to visualize what's happening. And Mathematica is quite an expensive software. As a student, you can get a cheaper subscription annually for $75, I believe. But I found out that you can actually do monthly payments of $10, 10 Canadian dollars, and only subscribe for those months that you need. So for me, I only need 4 months worth of subscription. So in total, this will cost me 40 Canadian dollars, which is okay. But this software will help when it comes to visualizing what's happening, like what's hidden behind those complicated integrals and how they connect to real world. This can really help, I think, to build intuition behind those special functions that crop up in physics all the time. Now, another part of my work during this semester is that I'm back to being a teaching assistant, and this term I'm doing first year mechanics course for physics undergrad students and helping them in their lab sessions and tutorials. And this is my 5th semester being a teaching assistant, and I must say that I really like to interact with the students. I feel like every time I go through that experience each semester, I learn something new alongside with my students. The only thing is the marking that is giving me trouble, because I'm not very efficient at marking. It takes me a long time to get through the reports that the students send. So that's something that I should really improve on, and it's still work in progress. If you've ever been a TA, you'd really know that marking can be time consuming. And now another big thing on my plate is that I'm writing my first author paper. This is the very first thing that I started doing since I began my PhD program. And this work spilled over from my master's work, from my master's project, because whatever I wrote in my master's thesis ideally needs to be shared with the world, with the scientific community, but I still have to get it done. And so the first couple months, like months or 2 of my PhD will be spent on publishing a paper. So at this point, I've got the body of the paper written, but I got some feedback this week from my supervisors, and I still need to do a few revisions for a few sections. And then on top of that, another big thing is to make nice figures, because figures are the key thing that make your paper stand out. Honestly, if you want your paper to be noticed, especially in high-ranking journals, your figures are like the storefront windows. You need to make them as sellable as possible. So I'm gonna be spending some time on making those 4 or 5 figures that will grab the attention and hopefully tell a story. Like, even if I think about how I read the papers, the very first thing I do when I open up a paper and decide whether it's something I want to read is I look through the figures first, and then I look at the abstract, and then only at the body if I feel like this is the paper for me. So I better make my figures nice. Speaking of academic writing, now let's talk about something a bit more personal. One of my viewers recently asked me in one of my videos comments, what do you do when you doubt your work or yourself? How do you get out of this and continue working? And I can definitely relate to that. I've been there so many times. And in this situation, I'm really, really thankful to my supervisors who gave me really nice advice. And that advice is something I keep reminding myself when I get into that mindset. And especially if you're aiming for a high-ranking journal, it's very easy to get into that kind of mindset, which does not really help, right? But here's some advice that I got, and I hope that really helps if I share it. I was told that even negative findings are valuable. Just because something didn't work the way you expected when you started your experiment doesn't mean it's not valuable and not good enough for sharing. In fact, sharing those results might save somebody else a lot of work that is unnecessary, might save them from repeating those experiments that lead nowhere, and prevents them from going down the same rabbit holes. It's not always about the result. It's all about how you frame those results and how can you make them relatable to others. Think of this like this. You could have the most amazing product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it, people just might not see its value. And the same goes for research. Sometimes it's not about whether your results are groundbreaking. It's about how well you can communicate them and make them relatable. So if you ever feel like doubting yourself, remember, you never know who your work might help. You're contributing to the bigger picture, and it's something to be proud of. Because it's you who kept spending days and sometimes nights to get those results and stress over them and polish them and be really invested in what you did. And nobody else did that in regard to that particular question. So you are the expert in that particular, even if it's a little area of that field, but still you are the one with the knowledge and you should share it. But the key is trying to learn how to share it effectively. And whenever I doubt myself, I keep reminding myself about these things. And typically this helps. I'm very close to the stage where I'm about to finish the paper and submit it for the first review. And I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time really excited. So that's where I am right now, balancing teaching assistantship classes and writing my first paper. I'll keep you updated how things progress, and who knows, maybe next time I share something, I'll have some news. So thank you for watching and thank you for sticking around. If you found this video valuable, if you found it relatable, make sure to give it a like and leave a comment with your own experiences, and let's keep the conversation going because your comment might help somebody else to feel a little bit better. See you in the next one.